Hello and welcome to Professor Pincushion. In this tutorial, I'm going to be demonstrating on how to do reverse applique. This is a great technique in order to embellish your projects, and really you can incorporate it into any project that you can imagine. What it is you take two layers of fabric. The top fabric is cut away in order to create a window so you can see the fabric underneath, and it's fun because you can do lots of different shapes. So let's go ahead and get started. To start off, we're going to pretend that this is the main fabric for one of my projects. Let's just say this is a front purse panel. So I have it cut out for the piece that I need to use for my project. I'm going to cut out a second piece out of my contrasting fabric that's the same size as this piece. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it underneath right side up, take my main fabric piece and also place it right side up. So it's right side to wrong side, and you're going to lay them right on top of each other. And we're going to baste around the whole perimeter of the piece, thereby making this one single piece that we're going to be working with. Now let's pretend that this is a giant piece and you're making, let's say, a skirt, and this is one skirt panel, but you only want to applique just a little tiny section. And you're thinking, well, why do I need to make a full panel of this giant thing if I actually want to applique a really tiny bit of it? The problem is that you could just cut a contrasting piece that's big enough to cover the area that you want to applique, but when you look at the inside of the skirt or whatever your project is, you're going to have some odd shaped fabric on the inside. So by using a contrasting piece that covers the whole panel, it's going to be nice and seamless on the inside, because then all the edges are going to be sewn into my normal seams. But if you don't care, you can also do that. Or if you add a lining to your skirt, it's going to be covered up anyways, so then you won't see it regardless. But for now, we're just going to do one piece of the main fabric, one piece of the contrasting, lay them on top of each other, and baste around the edges. For the basting stitch, you're just doing the longest stitch on your machine. You don't have to worry about doing any back stitching. We're just doing this as a temporary stitch to hold our two pieces together. You can do it at either your seam allowance or a little less than your seam allowance. Next, you need to decide on what image you want to applique. So it's best if you keep a really simple image, a simple silhouette, such I'm just doing a heart here. You want something that's not going to have a lot of detail to it, that's going to be very easy to cut out. Also, you don't want something that has a lot of small areas or really narrow pieces to it, because then it's going to be really hard to have enough fabric to turn under. We want it to have a very clean look when we're done with it. Once you have your image, go ahead, and you don't have to use a pattern like me. You could just free draw it if you want. You're going to use a fabric marker or chalk, and you're going to go ahead, draw your outline directly on the right side of your fabric. We're now going to be cutting into our gray fabric in order to create our window. So to do that, you need to pull the two fabrics apart. So my top hand here, I'm pulling on my gray fabric, and my back hand, I'm pulling my contrasting fabric, and I'm pulling them away from each other. Go ahead, grab your scissors, and you're going to cut in the middle. Again, I'm just cutting my gray fabric. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not cutting the contrasting behind. And then you're going to come in here and you're going to cut away most of the gray fabric inside your design, but you're not going to cut to the line. Instead, I would leave at least 1/4 of an inch on the inside of the line, so there's going to be a border of fabric on the inside of my blue line here. You should have something that looks like this now. So now what we want to do is we want to come through, you're going to take the raw edge and you're going to fold it under the gray fabric or your main fabric. So your drawing ends up right on that fold line, and then you're going to pin it into place. Now for areas that are pointy, such as here and here, it may be a little bit difficult to fold it neatly. So what you can do is just cut a slit, which I've done already, and that way I'm able to fold both sides independently of each other, and it'll look a lot neater. You can also do that for the curvy edges. I've already started doing that. Sometimes if it's difficult to fold, you just need to cut a slit, and then it makes it a lot easier and neater. Once you finish pinning everything into place, and I'm pinning through all layers of my fabric here, you're then going to take it to your machine and you're going to do a stitch very close to the folded edge. For this, I'm just doing a regular length stitch, and you don't have to sew directly on the fold, but you want to sew close enough that you're catching the folded fabric that's underneath your fold. And that's it. So your applique is done. If you want to add a little fun, you can do another contrasting thread around your image. Also, I would go ahead and remove any fabric markers or chalk that you have so it looks a little bit neater. As far as the basting stitches are concerned, I would probably wait and remove them when you're completely done with your project. And with that, you're ready to continue on with the rest of your project. New tutorials are released weekly, so please subscribe to be notified of the next release. Make sure to check out our other videos and visit ProfessorPincushion.com to view our complete library with well over 200 sewing video tutorials, including our exclusive premium content. Our premium membership is only $5 a month for unlimited access and only available at ProfessorPincushion.com. Also, don't forget to download our mobile app for videos on the go. Thanks for watching.